As the local government elections inch ever so closer, fresh complications continue to crop up. Good evening and welcome. This is Primetime News on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I am Jamal Ratnayaka. Up first in your headlines. Passport services delayed due to system issue. Many applicants head home empty-handed. Medicines and medical equipment are in severe short supply. Health workers demand solutions. National Council tells CEB and PUCSL to meet before amending electricity tariffs. Printing of ballot papers underway. More than 37,000 postal vote applications rejected. Election Commission says balance funds for local government election pending. In a story we received a short while ago, the upcoming local government elections scheduled to be held on the 9th of March appear to be facing a fresh hurdle. Today, the National Election Commission said that the government printer has stated that if funds are not provided, ballot papers will not be printed. There was no immediate comment from the government printer. Opposition parties have repeatedly accused the government of attempting to prevent the elections from taking place, while government officials have continuously stated that there is a shortage of funds for the elections due to the country's economic situation. There is also a case currently before the Supreme Court with regard to the elections that has been scheduled to be taken up on the 23rd of February. Of course, we will bring you more related stories to the election further down in the bulletin. On to more news from here at home. Passport services at the Department of Immigration and Emigration were delayed earlier today due to a system issue.
Controller General of the Immigration and Emigration Department, Harshailuk Pittiya, told Newsfirst that an issue arose with the system at about 10:30 a.m. A large number of people who visited the department to obtain one-day services with regard to their passports were severely inconvenienced by this delay. Sri Lanka police was also called in to control the situation. The Sri Lanka Army was also called in for security at the Department of Immigration and Emigration, and the passport applicants were seen gathered outside the premises. The Controller General of the Immigration and Emigration Department said those who did not receive their passports on Monday would have their passports sent to them by post at the expense of the department.
ඒකින්ද හෙට 12න් පස්සේ පුළුවන් බැරි කට්ටිය ඉන්නවා නම් අපිට පුළුවන් ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ දීලා තියෙන ඇඩ්‍රස් එකට කුරියර් කරලා ගෙදරට යවන්න. රියදුරු මහත්තයාට බැලලා වැඩක් නැහැ. රියදුරු මහත්තයා ඒකට හදන්න උත්සාහ නොකර ඉන්නවා නම් ඕගොල්ලන්ට පුළුවන් මොකක් හරි ප්‍රශ්නයකට
සෝරි සර් ඒකට තමයි ගෑරේජ් බාස් ඉන්නේ.
ඒක තමයි බාස් වෙන්න ඕනේ. බාස් තමයි වැඩ කරන්නේ. බාස් එනකන් හරි බාස්ලා දැන් ඇවිල්ලා හදනවා වචන පොඩ්ඩක් අහන්නකෝ
පන්නේ කියලා අපේ රුපියල් 20000ක් ගත්ත වචනේ තේරුම මොකක්ද
හරි මැඩම් කියන්නකෝ දැන් අපිට තාක්ෂණික දෝෂයක් ආවා අපි මෙච්චර කල් පාස්පෝර්ට් දුන්නනේ උදේ දුන්න කට්ටියට හවසට අරගෙන ගියා හරිද දැන් තාක්ෂණික දෝෂයක් ආපෙකට මොකද
හරි අද රෑ 12 වෙනකන් ඒක බලන් ඉතින් අපේ පොත අල්ලන්න බැරි නම් ඇයි අපේ 15000ක් කපා වටින 5000ක්
ඔයාගේ එක නෝමල් කරලා දෙන්න රුපියල් 5000ක් දීලා ගන්න ඔයාගේ පාස්පෝර්ට් එකේ මාස 4කින් අපේ වැරද්ද නෙමෙයි කම්පියුටර් එකේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙන්නේ ඔයාලා
ඔහොම කතා කරන්න එපා සර්. අපි අමාරුවේ ඉන්නේ. දෙයියනේ අපි දැක්ක මම කවුරුත් කඩිලා මම හිතගෙන ඉන්නේ. ඔහොම කතා කරලා අපි කොහොමද ඉන්නේ?
Controller General of the Immigration and Immigration Department, Harshay Lukpitiya, in a statement via the Department of Government Information, requested those who have booked appointments to obtain a passport on Tuesday the 14th to report to the department on Wednesday the 15th. He added that those who booked appointments for Wednesday the 15th are requested to report to the department on Thursday the 16th. Further, those who booked appointments for Friday the 17th are requested to report to the department on Saturday the 18th. The statement further noted that the passports for applications submitted on Monday the 13th will be issued after 12 noon on Tuesday the 14th. Those who cannot visit the department and obtain the passport will have their passports sent by courier to their residence.
Sri Lanka's healthcare system is also in crisis, and several factions made startling revelations on the matter. The Government Medical Officers Association, or the GMOA, says that certain decisions violate the basic rights of the people. In the midst of the crisis experienced by the country's health service, a decision has been reached to delay non-essential surgeries based on the recommendation of specialist doctors. The decision was made considering the shortage of medicines and surgical equipment in the country. Medicines and medical equipment at government hospitals as well as medical tests are currently being carried out under very strenuous circumstances. Health workers gathered opposite the Kurunagala Teaching Hospital and pointed out the severity of the problem.
The Health Minister has said to delay all non-essential surgeries. Our question is, how do we determine if the surgery is essential or not? Health staff protest practically every day because there's an issue. This needs to be solved. Though we propose the solution, the government does not want to provide it. The government led the country to bankruptcy and is looting from the people. The IMF conditions are concealed. People cannot survive. They have no means of income. They cannot even survive for a week with the monthly salary.
The Society of Government Pharmacists point out the amount of money that the government directs to buy medicines has greatly reduced.
The purchasing power of the Ministry of Health has decreased by 50% in the year 2022 compared to the year 2021. The amount reserved for the purchase of medicines in the Ministry of Health has been cut by 50%. As of today, it has been decided to postpone the non-essential surgeries, but I don't know what else will be stopped by tomorrow. However, the Ministry of Health and the health service of this country are shrinking because of the financial situation. Currently, there's a huge shortage of medicines used for diabetic patients in the hospitals. There's a huge shortage of drugs used for high blood pressure as well. There's a huge shortage of drugs used for cancer patients and children, as well as drugs used for epilepsy. It's a very complex problem.
The All Ceylon Nurses Union also called a press conference today.
Non-essential activities are not taking place. If patients are discharged, that's disgraceful. The people are nearing death because of the leaders. They disregard the lives of the people. However, none listen to us. Now we are witnessing the reality. We urge the people, if you cannot meet your medical requirements from the hospital system, are you going to wait for death to come to you? Or are you going to reach a decision to drive away this administration?
The Assistant Secretary of the Government Medical Officers Association expressed his views on this matter in Badulla today.
How can you decide surgeries which are urgent and which are not? It's very difficult. This is a shameful matter. Who decides if this surgery needs to be done or not? If you cannot do the surgery you want, what about other things in the country? These officials act without any responsibility. They are bound to maintain the life of people in relation to providing the necessary medicines for the people. There's a legal issue in this regard. There's also a violation of human rights. Someone can take legal action with regard to all these matters.
The Private Pharmacy Owners Association convened a media briefing to also elaborate on the crisis.
As per the current state of affairs, the people are more compelled to procure medicines. Unfortunately, since the prescribed medicine is not issued by hospitals, people are now compelled to buy medicines from private pharmacies. The issue is that patients come in search of cheap medicines. These medicines are usually imported and distributed by the State Pharmaceutical Corporation. There is a shortage in medicines imported by CPC, which in turn deprives the poor person of access to medicine. This issue has been going on for almost a year.
A large number of people who were hoping to return to work following the weekend were severely inconvenienced due to a strike action launched by a group of train drivers on Monday morning. A large number of commuters put their lives on the line as they were seen clinging to the trains to get to work. A group of train drivers had decided to go on an unannounced strike on Monday against the conduct of a work supervisor who was very strict concerning the time reporting to work and time leaving work.
A complaint was made against the inspector attached to the hydraulic locomotive shed. The complaint was regarding his conduct. His strict observation on the time reporting to work and the time leaving from work has led to an issue.
However, 23 train operations were cancelled on Monday morning due to the strike. This was the situation along the coastal route.
මම ආවේ හරියට 6:45ට. එක කෝච් එකකවත් හරියට ය아가න්න බැරි වුණා. ඇත්තටම සෙනග.
වෙලා උති වැඩට යන පාරක් වෙලා. බෑ එල්ලෙන්න විදියක් නෑ. එල්ලින ෆුට්බෝල් තමයි ආවෙත් එකක ඒක ඉන්න බැරි කමට මේ රත්මලානේ බහැලා ඉන්නේ. සමහර විට යනකොට රත් විතර වැදිලා තියෙ පොතේ.
The Galukumari train from Maradana to Beliapta that was scheduled to operate at 2:15 in the afternoon was delayed for almost an hour.
මෙහා සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අපි බස් එක යන වේදමන් වැඩිින් දාවේ කෝච්චි යන්නේ. ඉතින් මේක අපිට මේ දරා ගන්න බෑ අත්‍තරම මොකද මේ එක්ක මේ රටේ මේ තියෙන ආර්ථික තත්ත්වෙත් එක්ක මිනිස්සු ගොඩක් පීඩාවට ලක් වෙලා තින්නේ.
The railway drivers decided to call off their strike in the afternoon. Convener of the Union Federation to uplift Sri Lanka Railways told Newsfirst that the strike was called off following reasonable solution being provided to the issue.
Two protests took place opposite the Ministry of Education on Monday morning. One protest took place against the failure to recruit academic graduates to the Teachers' Service. It was organized by the Collective of Academic Graduates and the Ceylon Teachers' Services Union.
The provincial councils say that they have vacant slots and the funding, however, they require the approval from the higher-ups. We pass out with the knowledge required for the teaching. On the 27th of January, a recommendation was made to provide postings to the academic graduates. However, 2 days later, they said it was a mistake and withdrew their recommendations.
Around 500 graduates are here and there are 30,000 vacant positions for teachers in the country. We have been forced to protest opposite the Education Ministry for employment. They need to appoint the graduates and not hamper the education process in the country.
Thereafter, the protesting graduates were allowed to meet the Education Secretary for talks.
The unjust cause to these graduates will never be accepted. The Minister and the Education Secretary have given the undertaking to expedite the appointments and take the necessary measures. We hope they would expedite the process. If not, we will continue our struggle.
English Higher National Diploma holders protested opposite the Education Ministry against a decision taken to conduct a new teachers' exam without releasing the results of the 2021 exam.
2021
Everyone present here sat for the exam announced via Gazette dated the 12th December 2021. However, the results of the exam have not been released for 2 years. In the meantime, the Gazette for another exam has been issued. We demand the results to be released.
අපි ලියපු ගුරු විභාගයේ ප්‍රතිඵල නිකුත් කරලා දෙන්න ලෙස
Farmers from Tulana in Nelumvilla protested at the Tantirimale Billava junction on Monday against the government's failure to address the human-elephant conflict that has plagued most of rural Sri Lanka. Farmers and their families from Billava, Hinguruthanna, Ruwanmaduwa, Nelumvilla and Dangaswawa took part in the protest.
A proper solution was not provided to the wildlife issue. If a person leaves home, we cannot be certain if that person will return. It is impossible to even carry a patient to hospital. Around 25 people have been killed in wild elephant attacks in a month. We cannot even tend to our fields. More than 50 houses have been damaged. We do not have any responsible official to turn to. When we climb up the tree, the elephant tries to get us down by shaking the tree. We cannot even protect our rice fields from the elephants. The wild elephant issue is a burden to us. When we go to the government agent's office, they say they cannot do anything and pass it to the wildlife department. Our calls to the wildlife department go unanswered. My father was killed in a wild elephant attack. No one is responsible. Our houses and rice fields have been destroyed. When we call the wildlife officer, they say they don't have fuel to come help us. We are seeking a solution. We have no food and no sources of income. We are suffering, especially at night.
The Professionals Trade Union Collective met on Monday to discuss a future course of action against the government's new tax regime. 40 trade unions, including the Government Medical Officers Association, Federation of University Teachers Associations, Federation of Medical Faculty Teachers Unions, CEB Engineers Union and the Ceylon Bank Employees Union for the Professionals Trade Union Collective.
මේ ජන පීඩක මේ අසාධාරණ බදු ප්‍රතිපත්තිය වෙනස් වෙලා ඒ වෙනුවට ජනතාවට හිතකර මේ රටට හිතකර මේ රටේ
The government must announce a people-friendly tax policy replacing the unjust tax regime before Friday. The coming week will be very decisive. The Professionals Trade Union Collective has reached several decisions on trade union action.
සියලු පාර්ශවයන්ගේ මේ රටට තීරණාත්මක සතියක් ඒ නිසා ඒ සතිය තුලදී මේ වෘත්තීය සමිති එක්ක මුතුර දාන වෘත්තීය සමිති සියල්ලම විවිධාකාරයේ වෘත්තීය ක්‍රියාමාර්ග වලට යන තීරණය කළා අවසන්. දැනටත් යම් යම් තීරණ අරගෙන තියෙන්නේ. මෙන්න මේ තත්ත්වය පෙබරවාරි මාසෙත් වෙනවනම් මාර්තු මාසෙත් වෙනවා.
If this situation continues, the Professionals Trade Union Collective will be compelled to take this action forward to a level that the government understands.
පහුගිය 8 වෙනිදා මේකට අපි ලැබලා දුන්න උත්තරේ ආණ්ඩුවට ඒක තේරිලා නැත්තම් ආණ්ඩුවට ඒක දැනෙලා නැත්තම් ඒක ආණ්ඩුවට තේරෙන දැනෙන විදිහට ඉදිරියට ගන්න.
The Frontline Socialist Party stressed that a force devoid of parliamentary representative democracy needs to be formed. The FSP made this announcement while presenting their new program.
අපිට මේ අලුත් මාවතක් පිළිබඳ සාකච්ඡාවක් අවශ්‍ය වෙලා තියෙන්නේ මේ රට.
We need to discuss the Alut Mavata or new avenue at this critical juncture. The current perspective is that we cannot move forward without the IMF and without international loans. The root cause for this is the IMF, and their economic model has been forced on us, claiming that it is the answer. The people are being threatened with statements claiming that we cannot go forward without help from institutions. Therefore, we need a program. That program is named Alut Mavata or New Avenue. There is also discussion on why the Frontline Socialist Party, which wanted power out of politics, decided to contest the election. During the recent struggle, we realized that a need for a public force that can challenge the parliamentary representative democracy from outside of the Diyavanna. We continue to maintain that stance. We will work with that objective in mind.
බලයක් ගොඩනගා ගනිමු කියන අදිෂ්ඨානයෙන් අපි වැඩ කරන ව්‍යාපාර.
Aragale activists provided affidavits and evidence to the Human Rights Commission with regards to a complaint filed over the attack on a satyagraha on the 3rd of February.
The issue we have is this. During the protest, there was an obstruction from the thugs and the police. So, are they working together? Anyone should have the right to protest and express their views. People should have the right to criticize the government. These two matters are enshrined in the constitution and have been accepted via court rulings as well.
දහස් ප්‍රකාශ කරන්න අයිතිය තියෙන්න ඕන ආණ්ඩුවක් විවේචනය කරන්න අයිතිය තියෙන්න ඕන මේ කාරණා මේ රටේ නීතිය මගින් ආණ්ඩු ක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාව මගින් පමණක් නෙවෙයි රටේ නඩු තීන්දුව මගින් පවා පිළිලා කරන් තිබෙන කාරණා
හොඳටම පැහැදිලි ඔක්කොම දැක්ක මේ පොලිසිය අතරින් මැරව ඇවිල්ලා
It is clear that the thugs came from among the police. When the disruption took place, the Maradana OIC said that is why he told us to leave. The thugs were there and the police knew about it. One of them was released from remand prison that very morning. it is obvious that the police was aware of the situation.
පොලිසිය දැනුවත්ව මේ දේ කරේ කියලා. ඉතින් ඔය නාට්‍ය හා රංගකලා පන්තිය වැඩි කල් තව කරන්න හම්බෙන්නේ නැහැ. මිනිස්සුන්ට දැන් තේරෙනවා මේගොල්ලෝගේ නාට්‍ය.
More news follows after the short commercial break. Stay tuned.
News First, main sponsor.
Darden's Hospital, dedicated to you. Experience the best in healthcare at Darden's Hospital's new Alfred Place wing. We continue to evolve into a purpose-built hospital of the future, with an ambience built to deliver world-class care. Darden's Hospital, dedicated to you.
Sea of Sri Lanka.
The Sea of Sri Lanka. According to international law, we own a sea area that is 8 times greater than the landmass of our country. It is one of the most valuable and resource-rich sea areas in the world. Protecting the Sea of Sri Lanka is related to securing sovereignty. We have a plethora of data about the territory of our country. But this data on the sea area that is 8 times greater than the landmass of our country is very limited. Some of these data are essential for international shipping operations. Our country also has an opportunity to earn a monumental amount of foreign exchange just by selling them for shipping purposes. But data that could threaten the country's sovereignty should never be given to outside parties. It is our responsibility to secure the Sea of Sri Lanka for future generations. Historically, various countries and institutions have operated to take control of the national assets of countries during economic crises. That is why we must be very vigilant about our seas. We need to be more considerate of those eyeing this priceless resource. What will be our fate if the data we are not privy to on our sea area falls into the hands of such parties? No one who has pledged to secure the sovereignty of the country has the right to transfer these resources to another nation. This is the time for people to be alert. Is the Sea of Sri Lanka in danger?
Sea of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's election headquarters.
Commissioner General of Elections Samantha Vidyaratna says that the balance amount required for the local government election is yet to be received. He said 100 million rupees was made available to the National Election Commission, and however, that amount is insufficient for the election.
The National Election Commission is currently engaged in the process related to the local government election. Accordingly, applications for the postal voting process were called for as well. The National Election Commission said that around 30,000 applications for postal voting for the upcoming local government polls were rejected. The NEC said a majority of the applicants had submitted incomplete applications. It added that approximately 675,000 applications were submitted for postal voting for the 2023 local government polls. The secure packages containing the postal vote ballot papers will be handed over to the Department of Posts on the 15th of February, and the official ballot papers for the election will be handed over on the 19th of February. Approximately 200,000 state employees will be assigned to election duty. Postal voting for the 2023 local government election will take place on the 22nd, 23rd and 24th of February. The government printer said the ballot papers are currently being printed, and its chief, Ganga Kalpani Liyanage, told Newsfirst that there are financial issues concerning the printing of ballot papers.
Rathore electorate organizer of the United National Party, Atula Sudarman Vikramanayaka, highlighted the ground situation of their supporters at a recent event.
It's heartaching to accept the fact that none of us here can even spend 1,000 rupees for our election campaign, while ministers use jeeps to run theirs. The gentleman here asked me about my team when I came here today. This is my team. Can I have a show of hands from my team if any one of you have 1,000 rupees in your pocket right now? Some couldn't make it today because they can't afford it. Despite all these hardships, we will somehow win this election. There's no doubt about it. It's not a big deal for us to bring victory for Ranil when we are contesting under the elephant symbol. At least then, people send some papers for us. We don't even have a manifesto or a proper program today, not even a rubber stamp. You should not forget that this same set of people will be the ones who will work for you during the upcoming national election. I'm heartbroken today. I don't mind even losing this position. Please implement a proper mechanism for the upcoming elections. These people here are poor. They are no longer ready to listen to your stories. Please give something to them.
Executive Committee member of the National People's Power, Samantha Vidyaratna, expressed these views at a meeting in Mahiyanganaya yesterday.
They steal together at night and fight during the day. They portray to be two factions, but they are both the same. Do you still not agree? The flower bud has combined itself with the elephant now. Now they work together even at night. They know what they have done, the number of crimes they have committed. If we come to power, they will be tried in courts and will be punished. When the things they stole are to be recovered, they fear it. Even Ranil became a good choice then. They came together to save each other. This will be a decisive election. This is the most important election in our history. This is not merely a local government election, but a turning point in our country's history. Since this is an election that will change the system, my sincere request to you is to take it seriously.
A public rally organized by the SJB to muster support for the local government election took place in Tambuttegama, and it was presided over by opposition leader Sajith Premadasa.
සුබ පණිවිඩයකුත් අරගෙන මාර්තු 9 වෙනිදාට මේ රටේ අති මහත් බහුතරයක් පළාත් පාලන ආයතන අපි දිනනවාමයි ජයග්‍රහණය කරනවාමයි.
I came to Tambuttegama today with good news. On March 9th, we will win the majority of local government bodies. We will definitely win this. We will win the entire Anuradhapura district. We will win the entire Kalawava electorate. And when we win, the Talava school will receive a bus. This busman will visit the school of 3,000 kids. We will not stop from Talava. Busman will also arrive at Galneva school. And not only that, I will visit Rajanganaya and Mahasen schools. I will not visit with empty hands. I will come with a bus. I tell the others, take care of your own school without bragging.
Galneva Mahavidyalayatat me busman enawa. එතනින් නතර වෙන්නෙත් නැහැ. අනිවාර්යෙන්ම දූ දරුවන් 3000කට ආසන්න ප්‍රමාණයක් අධ්‍යාපනය ලබන රාජාංගනයේ 13-14 මහසෙන් විද්‍යාලයටත් මං එනවා. බස්මෑන් එනවා. හිස්සතින් නෙවෙයි බස් රථයකුත් දූ දරුවන් වෙනුවෙන් රැගෙනයි කියලා. රටට විසඳුම් දෙන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා තමන් ඉගෙනගත්තු පාසලට සලකලා පෙන්වන්න පුළුවන් නම් බොරුවට රට පිළිබඳව බොරු කයිය ගහන්න නැතුව බොරු බේගල් අද දමන්න නැතුව.
Transparency International Sri Lanka today announced their launch of its election monitoring work targeting the local government election.
The most common form of corruption during election is the abuse or misuse of public property. The whole idea of an election, of people exercising their sovereign right, is useless if the election is not free and fair. An election won't be free and fair if certain parties can use public resources funded by people for their personal election campaigns. So it is really important to prevent this. It's a serious matter. This is the first election that is coming after the economic crisis and after the massive citizens uprising we saw last year, where people said enough is enough. This country is in this situation because of corruption, because of how our public property is being misused. So we want a system change. Now in this first election that comes after this, citizens like you and me, we have a duty towards that system change to ensure, to start with, that this election is one with electoral integrity, that is a free and fair election where certain parties are not getting an undue advantage by misusing, abusing public resources, or by not following the election expenditure regulations. So we invite the citizens within your locality, keep your eyes open, watch out for these things, and if you notice a violation, if you notice public institutions, officials being used or situations like that, please report to us. You can use our hotline, or we also have our www.apesali.lk website.
The National Council has informed officials of the Ceylon Electricity Board and the Public Utilities Commission to hold discussions and reach a final decision on the electricity tariff issue by the 15th of this month.
The National Council informed officials of the Ceylon Electricity Board and the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka to hold discussions before the Public Utilities Commission takes the final decision on the 15th of February regarding the electricity tariff. Accordingly, the officials of both parties agreed to meet this afternoon for the purpose of discussing this matter. The chairman of the Electricity Board said that if the required percentage is not allowed to be increased in a background where the Electricity Board is demanding a 60% increase in electricity tariffs, it will have to face a serious crisis. Accordingly, he pointed out that due to the lack of money, even to import coal in the future, there is a risk of longer power cuts. The officials of the Public Utilities Commission said that arrangements are being made to announce the final decision on the electricity increase on the 15th of February.
On to some good news from the ICC Women's T20 World Cup. Harshita Samaravikrama and Nilakshi Silva stitched together a century stand to help Sri Lanka chase down the target of 127 in Cape Town against Bangladesh last night. And that's a wrap of Primetime News for tonight. For the Newsfirst team, I am Jaimal Ratnayaka. Take care, stay safe, and good night.